What is going on, guys? Candace B here. Thank you so much for coming to my channel. Welcome back to my subscribers and welcome to my new ones. Hello, how y'all doing? I hope you're doing well. Do you guys like my sweater? I'm trying to wear brighter colors, you know, I'm very monochromatic, I guess you can say. I like grays, stuff like that. And yeah, I don't know, like I'm feeling it. I love sweaters though, I love hoodies. This one says trust in your vision. So I feel like this is very appropriate to wear today. So a while back, I had posted on my community page on YouTube here, asking you guys what type of videos you wanted me to make. And a lot of you guys had asked me to make a video on how to enter a trade, how to exit a trade, just like what type of strategy to use. I guess it's really not a topic that's often discussed, I'm not too sure, but I was like, all right, cool, I can definitely make a quick little video on it, sharing some things that you can possibly keep in mind if you're struggling to figure out when is the best time to enter and exit a trade. Now, as a disclaimer, of course, the information that I'll be sharing in this video is just simply from my point of view, my opinion, my experiences. I'm not a mentor, a guru, an expert of any sort, etc. So please just take this information with a grain of salt. I just want you guys to remember that I'm simply a student of the markets, just like all of you are. And I like to make these type of videos to get you guys to think and to want to do further research to figure out the answers to questions that you may have. So always make sure that you're doing your due diligence by doing the research and doing the hard work and putting in the time and being self-sufficient. That is what Forex is about. You have to be independent. No one's gonna give you the answer to every question that you have. So you have to be willing to work for it, okay? And do the research, okay? I keep saying do the research, but I mean it, I mean it. But that being said, let us get into the video. So how are we as retail traders supposed to know when we're supposed to enter and exit a trade? Like, is there a universal formula that every Forex trader can follow? I wish there was, but really there isn't. And I mean, if there was a universal formula, everybody would know when to enter a trade at all times. They would also know when to exit a trade at all times, and we'd all just make a lot of money, okay? I wish that was the case. Trust me, I do. But like pretty much everything in Forex, it's just a matter of figuring out what works for you. There are a lot of things that you have to figure out before you even consider placing a trade. So my best advice personally, as one student of the market to another, is to not jump the gun just because you want to be in the market and you want to make all this money. My advice is to not do that. Which leads me to my first point, and a very status quo thing that we should all be doing as traders, which is to do your analysis. Yes, I know some people are gonna be like, Candace, duh, that's obvious. I know, I'm just saying, calm down, chill. Because I know a lot of people, including myself, have had times where we enter the market on an impulse without doing proper analysis beforehand. You've done it before, I know you have. It's a mistake that I'm sure everyone has made at the beginning of their trading journey. So don't be too hard on yourself if that's where you're at and you're taking trades and you're not thinking about it. Just stop though. Just make sure you stop. Don't do that anymore. Because all jokes aside, it's very important to remember that doing your analysis first before you consider entering a trade is extremely necessary to be successful. It's a huge component of that success. Doing a thorough chart analysis before you consider entering a trade is very important because it helps you to form your bias, and your bias is what you need to determine whether you're gonna buy or sell. If you just simply place a trade without doing any analysis beforehand, that is considered gambling because you're just pressing a button and hoping and praying that you end up on the right side of the market. So yeah, that brings a lot of stress, obviously. And when it comes to chart analysis itself, when it comes to actually knowing how to analyze the chart, it is up to you to put in the time and the work to learn how to do that. I personally feel like you can't really teach chart analysis 100% just because everyone is so different. How I look at the chart can be completely different to how you look at the chart because we're two different people. And knowing how to analyze a chart really does come from instinct. And really that instinct comes from you putting in chart time. I know a lot of people have heard that term chart time, and it's really just you diving into the charts and studying it. Studying whatever currency pair or commodity or whatever instrument you trade, going back in history, back testing, learning the ebbs and the flows, seeing where the wicks are bouncing off of, you know, seeing all that it is, all that encompasses that pair, really learning that pair and its temperament. That is something that no one can really teach you. They can teach you how they do it, how they analyze charts. I mean, I have many videos on chart analysis on my channel that you guys can always feel free to check out at any time, but it might not resonate with you. So it's up to you to figure out what works for you. And I keep coming back to the idea of figuring out what works for you, but that is what Forex is. That's what it is. There's no specific answer. For me, I'm always trying to improve and implement things that can help me analyze charts more effectively. And that requires me to at least look at the charts for an hour a day. I know everything going on, it's hard to be motivated. I'll be the first one to admit it's been taking a toll on me, and you guys probably notice I'm not posting as often, but I'm trying to get back to that. But either way, I'm always on the charts. Like, rest assured, if you don't see me, just know that I'm on the charts, and at least an hour a day is something that I try to put in. So I'm always trying to do my best, you know, I'm trying to do my best. So I encourage you guys to do that too. You know, don't be too hard on yourself. You might not be able to put in an hour a day, even 10 minutes a day. Every little baby step adds up. So that's the main thing though, is that you're putting in those baby steps. And analyzing charts is something that you can just do like at any time. You know, tradingview.com, link in the description. It's free. You can use the free version. It's accessible on the internet. If you have your phone or your laptop or your computer, just look at the charts. Just study wicks, study the candlesticks. Do something that'll help you improve your chart analysis, and that'll help you just to increase your confidence and be prepared for when it is time for you to place a trade. Now, a complimentary point to this, and another thing just to keep in mind before you decide to place a trade, is to make sure that you have multiple confluences. I'm sure many of you have heard the idea that the more confirmations you have before entering a trade, the better, and I agree with that as well, just because the more confirmations you have, it means that you're increasing your edge in the market, and that is the goal, to have a higher edge. And so of course you do your chart analysis, you know, you build up that story to figure out what bias makes sense, whether it makes sense to buy or sell at that particular time in the market. And of course, as you do that, you're gonna find different reasonings that make sense and connect and correlate to your story, and that increases your edge. And that's really the simplest way that I can really interpret and explain the benefit of having multiple confluences. And by the way, I use the term confluences and confirmations interchangeably if you haven't noticed, and that's just because they're synonyms. They're basically the same. But yeah, never think it's a bad thing if you notice that you have more than one reason as to why your bias is what it is. That's obviously a good thing, because that really will increase your confidence to place the trade. So yeah, it's a good thing. It's a good thing. And if you think about it, you can even use confirmations when you're determining where to exit a trade as well. Noticing more than one reason why you should be exiting a trade should be more than enough reason for you to exit the trade. Whether it be setting your stop loss based on market structure and just allowing it to be hit if that's the case, or noticing that you're in drawdown and that structure is now against you and choosing to manually close out that trade yourself in a small loss. These are things just to consider and keep in mind. Because here's the thing, here's a question, guys. Would you go through an intersection without confirming that you had the green light, then confirming that you've looked left and right to make sure there are no other cars or pedestrians, then making sure that your foot is actually on the gas pedal before you start going? I doubt you would do all that without confirming, right? Well, I'd hope you wouldn't. All I'm trying to say is that the more confirmations, the better. And I'm really bad at analogies, so don't laugh at me, okay? Anyways, another major thing to consider to do before placing a trade is to predetermine your risk. Now, this is very subjective because it really just depends on things such as your account size, your comfortability, your trading goals, etc. But regardless of what your personal preference is, predetermining your risk is a major key. And in my personal opinion, I don't know if this is controversial, but knowing how much you're going to lose in a trade is much more important than knowing how much you're going to gain in a trade. Because don't you want to be able to live to trade another day and know that even though you've taken a loss, you've taken that L, that you can still have enough capital at the end of the day to come back tomorrow. So predetermining your risk before entering a trade is something that we should all do, because imagine you just enter the trade without figuring out how much you want to risk, and then price goes crazy, you overlook the fact that there was a news event or something just came out of the blue, and now price is volatile and it's moving like crazy, and you're just panicking because you're in the market and you don't have any risk determined, and you just see a lot of red numbers. At least if you had predetermined your risk and you set your stop loss, yeah, of course it might seem kind of sucky that your stop loss gets hit, but at least you can have that peace of mind, that you have protected the rest of your capital. This is gonna be you. You're gonna be like this. I know this might seem kind of crazy, but I personally love taking a loss in the market and seeing that price is continuing in the opposite direction. Because at that point, I'm already out the market, I've taken my small little loss, but me and my account are chilling. We are chilling, okay? We are chilling. One final thing that I will mention for this video, ladies and gentlemen, is something that I feel like is very important when deciding to place a trade, and that is to make sure that you're mentally prepared to be in the trade. And this simply comes down to your psychology, which is the most important part of trading. And to be honest, the resiliency that you have to have and have to develop as a trader is something that is unlike anything else. Like, this market can either drive you crazy or make you fall in love with it, or both. It all just comes down to your psychological approach. What is frustrating to me personally is that so many people overlook this. And as someone who overlooked psychology for years when it came to my trading and lost a lot of money because of it, I always preach the importance of working on your psychology no matter where you are at in your Forex journey. If you are not mentally prepared to enter and exit a trade, then how do you expect to do well in Forex? How? Tell me how. Especially once you're actually in the trade, you may have an idea of how long you want to be in the market before your stop loss or your take profit is hit, and the market may have a completely different idea for you. And remember, it's the market that has the power when it comes to that. Are you mentally prepared to not have any control over where the market goes or how fast it moves or what it wants to do? Because the bottom line is you have to be. All we can focus on as retail traders is what we personally have power over, which is, being patient, not being quick to jump the gun and enter a trade just because you want to be in the trade. Making sure you have determined your risk and reward beforehand so that either way, regardless of the outcome, you know what's going to happen to your account. Of course, everyone will have a different mental threshold in terms of how long they want to stay in the market before their stop loss or their take profit is hit. And of course, having a larger stop loss and take profit usually results in you being in the market longer as opposed to having a tighter stop loss and take profit. And of course, where you place your stop loss and your take profit is totally up to you, but we just don't determine how quick it gets hit, right? But overall, I encourage anyone who's watching this, especially the beginners, to work on your psychology every single day in some sort of aspect, whether that be just listening to a podcast or saying positive affirmations to yourself every day, or even reading a book like Trading in the Zone, link is in the description, etc. Whatever you want to do, something is better than nothing. Then you'll eventually realize that entering and exiting a trade, pressing the actual button is the easy part. It's all of the background work that you have to do beforehand that is the more challenging part. But yeah, guys, just a few things that I wanted to share with anyone who might be struggling on how to figure out when to place a trade. Just remember that there is no specific formula. Knowing when to place a trade is really just the result of gathering information that you can consider before you actually press buy or sell. So just put in the work and it will be worth it, I promise you. I appreciate all of you lovely people for stopping by to watch this video and see little old me. If you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful in any way, shape, or form, please let me know by hitting that like button. You guys already know I appreciate it. And also comment down below and let me know what you personally do to determine when to enter and exit a trade yourself. I would love to know. And last but not least, do not forget to subscribe so you know when I post another video. And in the meantime, feel free to check out any of my other videos on this channel and my other channel. And until next time, my lovely, lovely viewers, I hope you have a beautiful day, week, and life. Bye!